So Xanthus, I was supposed to talk about this guy like I think 2 weeks ago, but I was like busy doing other stuff, but now I'm doing it now, so let's just get right into it. So Xanthus has a lot to his backstory, so usually when I make these kind of videos, I like to read EXE wikis on like the character I'm covering, and holy crap, there's a lot. I'm not going to cover everything that relates to his whole origins because like I said, there's a lot. I'm just going to bring up the most important details to his origins, but there are some cool things on there like the mention of xenophanes. Just out of nowhere. There's the mention of this like power matter thing that like people used for like good or evil. And I think it related to like a bunch of different EXEs. But we're talking about Xanthus here, not this stuff. So to start off, well, the life counter of Sonic 1. So through a bunch of different copies of Sonic 1, the life counter maxed up to like this really giant number. And it was like, oh, it seems like this thing is missing from the game, and it bringed in this like purple orb thing. It's actually more summed up as like this dot, but I consider it more of an orb because of this. Don't worry, I'll talk about this a little bit later. So yeah, Xanthus came together as this like purple dot orb thing and like hooked up to like a bunch of Genesis, I think. Because of this, Xanthus saw the horrors of humanity and was like, well, they're not fit to rule, so I'm going to become king. Not gonna lie, I'd probably do the same. Like, if I saw humanity, I'd probably want to become king too. But anyways, he wants to rule over Mobius, but he needs a vessel. So what is he going to do? He's going to go to Sonic the Hedgehog. So this is when this comes in. On the wiki, it mentions this whole video in like text form, but I kind of want to show you like it in like footage form. If you don't know, there's actually 2 more of these videos, but I'm just going to be showing you this one.
Watching you for quite some time, young one. You have shown me great strength, but you are wasting your potential. You have the power to take everything, to steal this world's will, and make it your own. But you refuse to. You are wasting your time, young one. You fight your enemies, but you don't strike them down. You allow them to continue on, that they may continue destroying the land that should be yours. I am but a guiding light for now, but let me use you as a vessel, young one, and your enemies will fall. This land you shall rule, and power will be in your hands. That is my promise.
I don't think I'm gonna take that offer, bud.
Then I shall not fight you. I already got everything that I needed.
So I think this video gives you a decent amount of context, but basically Xanthus needed to like get Sonic's vessel. It really didn't matter what Sonic was going to say, he was just sort of, I guess, needing time to give himself like an appearance. So he went to a cave. So he basically went out of his way to design himself. He had like yellow eyes, but he didn't care. And so slowly he gave himself a more king-like appearance and gave himself the name Xanthus. And that's basically it. There is a little bit more to this, like the fact he turned Elaborate Zone, Marvel Zone into his castle, and him basically turning Sonic's friends into like his slaves, sorta. Something I find very interesting is that he used their like bodies as dead bodies as like a scare tactic, basically being like, yeah, that's right, I'm king and I'm in charge. It also seems that he actually cares about them a bit, even Eggman. He just sort of has this like tough love relationship with them. So pretty interesting. So overall, I think his backstory is actually pretty decent. It's not like top tier, but I think it has a good enough setup to it. He comes into existence as this orb because of the Sonic 1 life counter, which I actually kind of like. Him finding out about humanity and hating it and was like, I gotta become king. Basically needing Sonic as a vessel, making himself, and becoming king. I even find that stuff with Sonic's friends to be interesting. Like, Xanthus doesn't like feel like, oh, I'm just gonna kill them because I wanna. He just sort of does it as a scare tactic to like scare people. But overall, he has a pretty decent backstory, so let's now get into his design because I want to talk about it. So we have 2 designs to cover, starting off with his vessel form. It's not that bad, it's a fine enough vessel form. I like the yellow eyes and the giant grin. Though I will say, when looking at some references of this, it's a little goofy. Like, I'm sorry. I don't have anything else to say about it. As for this design, I like it. Still has the goofy grin, but is, not bad. I think what has to carry it has to be the color scheming, and especially, like, the black spikes. That's all I have to say. So as for that was Xanthus. Pretty interesting EXE that I feel like some people probably know about but instantly forget about. It feels like he has a decent enough following, but then also doesn't, but I don't really know what else to say about it. I guess he's decently known a little bit. So that's basically it. See ya.